You're watching All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Coral.
Welcome to All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Coral with me, Adam Smith, and of course, Joe Cole. Joe, how's your week been, mate? Been everywhere this week, haven't you?
I've just been so busy. I've played 3 games in 3 days.
Oh, how the legs?
The swollen, swollen, mate. And loved it. Soccer Aid. We lost the game.
Yeah.
But we raised a lot of money.
Over 30 million.
Over 30 million. Like, they did a great job there. It's such a weird... We'll get into it because we've got Lee Mack coming on who scored the winning goal. And I love Lee. He's like, you know, the beautiful thing about Soccer Aid is you go there and I'm meeting Chunks, who's a YouTuber. Lee Mack, who's I think one of the funniest guys around. Yeah. You could just see the guys, the singers, you know, your Tom Grennans of this world. So it's lovely meeting all different people you don't get a chance to. And we raise a lot of money. And like amazing. But yeah, I'm tired, Smithy. I'm tired, mate. I'm tired.
Well, I'll let you have a little breather while we bring in...
espresso.
Yeah, you got a double espresso. He's got a double espresso on the go. We're going to let you have a little breather while we bring in our guest. A lad that we both know very well. I'd say everyone loves this guy in the industry. He's got over 100 goals for Palace, legend at Selhurst Park, 9 goals in 36 games for Republic of Ireland. He's everywhere on our TV screens. Our mate, Clinton Morrison. Clinton, thanks for coming on. How you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me. Being here with you two, this is what dreams are made of.
Dreams, yeah?
I told you, this is a dream come true.
That is a strong word to say.
Well, that's what I feel. You know me, I always speak the truth, mate. So, this is a dream.
I didn't talk about his bicycle kick. Do you remember his bicycle kick for Exeter as well? That is right up there.
That was my last ever goal, and I celebrated, pulled my hamstring, and then I knew it was time to retire. So don't worry about that.
a lot of time later.
What a way to go out.
Exactly. I went out. Yeah, went out well.
Before we talk about York, there's so much to talk about, Clinton. We're going to talk about what's going on with Palace. A lot going on at Palace, one of your former clubs, of course. We're going to talk internationals beforehand because we're going to be speaking about you a lot. I just want to get your memories of playing against Joe Cole.
One of the best there ever was. I played against some top players, but for dribbling, he was one of the best I've ever played against. I used to say, the defenders say, oh, Clinton, drop a bit and get on his toes. I said, I ain't getting on his toes. He's too good. He was unbelievable. Fantastic career, doing brilliant in the media. Will go on to be a fantastic coach. He's got a lot to offer, Joe Cole. His ability on the ball is one of the best. And I'm not just saying that. Everyone that knows me knows I tell the truth. If I thought he was bang average, I'd say he's bang average. He was top class. His ability is one of the best I've ever seen out there.
Nice to hear that, Joe.
That is nice. And I think, like, footballers, you like... You know, there's so much noise around you. Like, some people think you're good, some people think you're rubbish. But when it comes from another player and it's genuine, it does feel good. It's nice. It's nice to hear. So
and you know 100% I'm genuine.
Yeah, I do know he's genuine. We've worked together a lot of times. Did you feel that pressure, Joe? Because a lot of I'm not trying to big you up too much here, but a lot of players, particularly of Clinton's era, a lot of them say to me, everyone knew who Joe Cole was when you were 16, 17, coming through. Was there a lot of pressure on your shoulders?
Do you know what? If you like, I was ignorant as a kid, so that served me well. I did it. It was my journey, so I didn't. Looking back on it now, like, I was judged with a different level, because when I was playing 17 in the Premier League and playing well, you know, no one was going, "Wow, that's great. You're a 17-year-old. You're playing in the Premier League, holding your own. You're doing well." It was like, why are you not dominating every game, every minute? Like, because of the expectations. But I didn't feel that at the time. I was just doing what I was doing, and I think as well, like, I look now and I look at the great players that we got. I think there's loads of players of my type around now. But back then, it was unusual. But that's only because I come from the streets playing. Because my dad wasn't a football fan. I didn't actually play any organised football until I was 11.
Wow.
I was a street footballer.
Yeah.
Like, and Clinton knows, being a London boy.
Of course, definitely.
So it was just playground, in the cage, street football. And I didn't... because I didn't have no guidance. So when I was just different. I wouldn't say I was better, or like, we had great players in our area, but I was a different type of footballer. And now we're producing players who can handle the ball. We all love watching the Fodens, the Mounts, the Grealish, Maddison, Sancho, Hudson-Odoi. There's just so many of them. So like, you know.
And you know what? He's mentioned them players, and them players are top players. But for dribbling wise, and Jack Grealish, I'd say, is the closest towards he is. I know it's not the Joe Cole show, but let me tell you one thing. What I will say is, once he had the ball once in midfield and he flicked it over someone's head ridiculously. If it was anyone else, they would have put him in rows that they couldn't get near him. And then he did this drag back, and I said, nah, this player is unbelievable. And in this era now, it'd be exceptional as well. Some players couldn't survive in this era now. He had that much ability.
Showboat, wasn't he? Proper showboat.
But showboat, but he had the end product.
Had the end product,
That's what you want.
Well, it ties nicely onto internationals, because we mentioned the comparison between Joe and some of the players. So let's talk about England. 2 4-0 wins. Good start for Gareth Southgate. Still not over the penalties yet, Joe, but good start for England.
Yeah, exactly. I think you park up the Andorra game because that's a separate entity in itself. But the first game, I thought they was like exceptional in a hostile atmosphere. The boys, like this team are just constantly ticking boxes. Like, can they deal with this? Can they go away from home in a hostile environment? Can they keep their composure? Because that's difficult to do. I've played in England teams where players have been petulant, got sent off, and it's cost us.
Yeah.
But these lads, like, under a lot of duress as well, rightly or wrongly, whether we get, I don't really, like, not rightly it's wrong, but like, they managed to just hold their own. That's a credit to the players' mentalities, because I know Clinton said it would have been difficult for our generation. We reacted more than these boys. These boys are well schooled at dealing with this kind of stuff.
How impressed are you with England? As Joe says, on and off the pitch, how they're handling everything mentality-wise. 8 goals, clean sheets in both, but also how they're carrying themselves mentality-wise.
They carry it brilliantly, because Joe's right. Raheem Sterling is obviously took his shirt off. He's celebrating for someone he's lost close to him, and they're throwing stuff at him, and you can hear all the chants and stuff like that. But he reacts the best way by putting the ball in the net and getting on with it. Right? Instead, in other times, I think when I'm playing, I want to go and confront the fans. But times have changed. You can't do that. The best way to do that is put the ball in the back of the net and put a great performance. Every England player, the management, everyone is together with all the players and stuff like that. But the way they're playing at the moment is exceptional.
Clint, do you think Raheem gets enough credit for like his leadership, and he's almost statesman-like, and how he deals with it? Like, because I was in the crowd at the Euros. I went to every game, and there was a lot of people who weren't happy with him starting. A lot of fans, like I was listening. That's the first time one of the first times I've sat with the fans for a long time since I was a kid. Yeah. And I know Raheem because I come through with him, and I know what a tough man he is, and how. Do you think he gets enough credit for that?
No, I think that's a great question, and I don't think he gets enough credit. And there was a lot of people doubting him before. Yeah. He had to prove himself. He turned out to be England's probably best player. There was a lot of positives, but for me, he was the best player. He's the main man that stepped up to the mark. And I just think if you ask a lot of the young England players in and around the squad now, they all look up to Raheem Sterling. He's become like England's go-to man. Listen, they've got Harry Kane, I know that. He scores all the goals, but Sterling is scoring the goals, creating chances. So for me, he's the main man, and he lets his feet do the talking. He lets his feet. He doesn't need to worry about what people are going to say. He looks like he's strong-minded and gets on with it, and that's the best way to be. If you get involved in what he says or she says, then you're going to lose focus on what you have to do. I think he's really focused, and you saw that by his performances. Even when they talk about him now, when he's at Man City, will he play? He will play. He'll get his game time, and he will play, and he'll score goals.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Smithy, like, what's the word? Like, it's eluded me. He's such a for young kids to look up to.
Role model.
Role model.
Is that the word? Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I told you I was tired.
Brilliant.
We got it. But he's such a role model for youngsters, and especially in the current climate where we are. I think he's handled himself so well, and I think we just need to give him a shout out for that.
Yeah, definitely. Why do you think he does get sort of unfair criticism? You look at his goals and his assists recently, his record for England is phenomenal. All the trophies he's won for Man City, he's a leader, he's a role model off the pitch. Why do you think he does get criticism? Because it's not valid, is it? There's no reason why he should get that. He's as a role model on and off the pitch, as you said.
Definitely off the pitch. I think what he does, trying to tackle racism and other stuff, I think it's magnificent, to be fair. Because when I was playing, we weren't big enough to come out and think we were going to be heard. Him and Marcus Rashford have stepped up to the mark and said they will be heard. And what he does on the pitch, he scores goals. As I said, I think he's England's most important player at this precise moment. Maybe, you know what people look at? There's some chances where you look and he's in front of goal and you're thinking he should score. But everyone's missed chances. You can't knock someone for that. And then you look at other stuff and you think he goes into a pound shop and everyone's judging him. He's in a pound shop. Leave him alone. He can do what he wants. He earns his money. He can shop where he wants to. As long as he's producing what he does on the football pitch is the only thing you should be judging Raheem Sterling. And off the pitch, he's a role model as well. So I don't get it, to be fair. But you know what? I think he's got tunnel vision and he knows what he wants. So he just keeps going. Yeah,
top player, lovely lad as well. Got to talk Republic of Ireland. We can't not talk Republic of Ireland. Clinton Morrison sat there. You were doing the game, weren't you? 1-1 with Serbia. What's your thoughts on everything that's going on with Republic of Ireland under Stephen Kenny at the minute?
Listen, it's difficult, to be fair, at the moment. They haven't got the players. Republic of Ireland haven't got the players. He's trying to bring through the younger players. What I've said many a times is Roy Keane is still on the payroll at the FAI. So why would you not get someone whose goals in international level is one of the best around to go and help some of the youngsters? Because you know what Ireland's biggest problem is putting the ball in the back of the net. That's been like that for many years. So why not get someone like Robbie Keane to help? But maybe he thinks Robbie Keane's a big influence and Stephen Kenny's not really a big name, so he might be stepping on his toes in that kind of atmosphere and stuff. But at the moment, it has been a big struggle. The result against Serbia probably was a positive result, even though Serbia were the better team. I think if they had got the result against Portugal, they did ever so well, but you can't leave one of the best players around to score two goals. And that's it. So
two late goals.
It's a struggle, and there is a lot of talk. Maybe he will lose his job. We'll have to see at the end of this campaign, but it hasn't been a good campaign for Ireland.
It's interesting, Clinton, mentioning Robbie Keane there. How important is that to have players or in and around, whether it's manager, coach, that have been there at the highest level? Because Robbie Keane is a legend in Ireland, isn't he? In the Republic of Ireland. So would that be a good fit, do you think?
I agree with Clinton. I think he's almost too much of a big character for Stephen Kenny. But it's a great point, Smithy, because I think in football now that we've gone so far, there's so much data, there's so much coaching, there's so much technology used. Coaching, we sorted that. These lads need the wisdom of players like Robbie Keane, like Clinton, like myself, in big moments who know how it feels. Stephen Kenny, he hasn't played at the top level. So, these players in crucial moments when the eyes are on him, they can't have convictions that what he's saying is right. If Robbie Keane standing up there and telling a striker, look, when you're in this position, you have to do this, the player can block out all the noise and go, listen, Robbie Keane's telling me he's a genius. So football's gone away from valuing that experience, and look at the Italian squad. We're talking about there. We get onto that. Mancini, Vialli, Lombardo. It's like, it ain't a old boys club. Do you know what I mean? They're and you look at the Italians, they beat England off the back of it was an experience first and foremost, but it was they was the most together team I've seen at international for a long time. So having a Robbie Keane round of course it would benefit the Irish players.
And of course it worked for Italy because they won the Euros. So there we go. Proof's in the pudding. Coral odds for you to bring you boys. If you think Saka will continue his goal scoring form, of course England playing Poland as well, looking forward to that one. If you think he's going to continue his goal scoring form, Coral will give you odds of 45-1 for England to beat Poland 3-0 and Saka to score first. So 45-1 for that one. Just want to touch on Saka briefly. I know it's probably unfair to single out one player because so many players played well, but I was delighted to see him. Obviously missed that penalty and everything he went through after that. Lovely, lovely guy, Saka. Great player as well, scoring that goal and the fans singing happy birthday. I just thought it was a lovely moment for the top level.
That was nice.
Anyone ever sang happy birthday to you after a game? Have you ever played on your birthday, Joe?
No, do you know what? They ain't. I once got a cake.
Did you?
The lads, but that was from the lads, and that was quite nice.
That's nice.
So it's nice. So he must have loved that. No, but with Saka, another thing, obviously the big moment for him, and you just look at another lad who you look at, he's already. I watched him play the other day. Already looks like he's off his shoulder. He's already gone, and that's just a credit to him and these people around him who are managing him, looking after him, the club, because he looks like he's back on the horse, isn't he?
You're right. Well. He's Saka. He's a top player. To be fair, for a young kid to step up to want to take that penalty under that pressure was brilliant. And it's how you, and Joe will know, it's how you bounce back. And he's bounced back from that. So he'll have a long career. He's doing ever so well. It's just his team at the moment are in a relegation struggle.
You think relegation?
Who, Arsenal?
Yeah.
I'm only joking.
You think there'll be relegation?
I'm only joking. I like winding up the Arsenal fans.
You do that, Well, you've probably succeeded in winding them up again. So we'll move on, Clinton. Right, Premier League. We'll do this with all our guests, get them to predict who they think will be lifting that trophy, that magical trophy at the end of the season. So who are you going for, Clinton?
That's a tough one.
I don't want one of two. I want you to put your prediction hat on.
Yeah, it's a tough one, to be fair.
Is it a tough season to predict because of how everyone's strengthened, do you think?
Yeah, 100% it's tough. And obviously Liverpool having Virgil van Dijk back is always going to make them more competitive and in there. But I'm going to have to go for... I can't see. It's our City and it's only City and Chelsea. I think Man United and Liverpool will be there or thereabouts, but it's City or Chelsea, and I just think, all right, I'm gonna go for. It's going to hurt me. No, I'm going to go for Man City. I think it's going to be
Do you know
close.
what? I know you changed your mind there,
You know why I changed it? Yeah, I was going to Chelsea. I looked at Joe, because Joe's like that. But I'm just going to go for Man City, and it'll probably be by a point. And I'm not always right. It'll be close. But Chelsea, I think, serious title contenders by the signing of Romelu Lukaku. I think they missed a natural number 9 last season, and Tuchel's got them playing excellent football. And if you look at squad depth, they've got a hell of a squad at the moment.
Yeah. Do you know what I like about that? Clinton not only gave us his prediction, but by a point.
I like that.
Didn't sit on the fence at all.
I like that, but that's why he's in the media. They don't get on his sitting on the fence. He just tells it how it is.
He even brought different outfit options today. That is a pro.
No, it's because we can't get into that anyway. Let's leave that one.
Right, okay. I want to talk Palace because you've spoken a lot about the Cities and the Chelseas. I think personally, I said it on something recently I did, that I think Palace have had one of the most underrated windows of any Premier League team, because obviously they can't be in the market for the likes of Jack Grealish and Lukaku. But I've got the names: Odsonne Edouard, Conor Gallagher. They've brought in Mark Gurley, of course, captained England under-21s, Michael Elise, Joachim Anderson, who clubs like Tottenham are linked. It's a really good window for Palace, that, isn't it?
No, it's been an excellent window. They needed to spend. Obviously, I speak a lot to Dougie Friedman, who's the director of football, so I knew they still had money from Wan-Bissaka going to Man United, and they hadn't spent it yet. So, and everyone keeps saying to me, this could be the year Crystal Palace get relegated. I don't think Palace will get relegated. It's going to take time. Obviously, Patrick Vieira, new manager, he wants to implement his style of football, trying to play out from the back. And obviously, it's different to how Roy Hodgson was, which was sit back and just play counter-attacking football. So, but the signings that they've made, I like Yehi, I like Gallagher, I like Elise, Edouard. They needed another striker. I think the only striker they've really got is Benteke, and Benteke once crosses into the box, and you need another striker. Joe wouldn't tell you, Smithy, you can't go through a whole season with only having one recognised striker. At a club in the Premier League, you need at least 2 or 3. So I think they've done really good business, and I think they'll have a positive season.
Yeah, I think I thought they was going to struggle because, and the reason I want to say it is because when I looked at it last year, and it was the oldest squad in the Premier League. They had 14 players out, and Roy Hodgson plays a brand of football, and I like the fact that Dougie Freeman and Palace are now going, right, we need to modernise this football.
Yeah, definitely.
But that comes with its perils. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Straight away, you look at the players they signed, they're footballers. The Anderson, the lad at the back, mate, he's got one of the best pings I've seen.
100.
Left foot, right foot. Now, Palace have gone from Roy Hodgson, where it's no risks, no square balls. Defenders have only had to get it and get it forward and then do their job. And now I watched them, they're trying to play. Yeah. And the good result at West Ham, but the first half at West Ham, they were dreadful.
They were horrible.
And in the second half, they come back. So there's the first 15 games of the season, Palace, if they're showing signs of improvement, they'll be fine. If like when who was the Dutch guy come in, De Boer,
and then Hodgson, after 7 games, had no points.
It wasn't there long,
They can't do that. They've got to give Patrick, because Patrick's got probably one of the hardest jobs in the Premier League, because he's changing a whole philosophy and culture of a club. Yeah. And he has to do it with a whole new bunch of players, and so that's my first 15 games are going to be crucial for Palace, and they need to see the improvements. And they did at West Ham. Yeah, they did. Second half, they were much better.
100%. And then they signed the boy Will Hughes as well, because he can play in midfield. Yeah. And that was a good, really good. But Joe's right. The next 4 or 5 games, Smithy, are tough. Yeah. They've got the likes of Tottenham, Liverpool, Leicester. So there's a lot of difficult games in there. So I think the point at West Ham, will give them confidence, because Joe's right. In the first half, non-existent, nowhere near. In the end, probably could have won it. He had a header in the last minute and it went over the bar. So there is positive signs for Palace, and I think they'll be all right. I always say there's 3 worse teams in the Premier League than Crystal Palace.
Yes. I want to pick Clinton made an interesting point there, Joe, about the fact that he's changing the complete philosophy, identity, personnel, but also the way they played, from Roy Hodgson to Patrick Vieira. You've played with some of the best managers that the Premier League's produced. How difficult is that? How long a process is that when you go from one manager, another manager comes in and wants to change not just personnel, but the way you play? Because surely that must take time.
It depends on the personnel. Right. And you're right, the recruitment's been great. But that's one of the most difficult things to do in football, because Clinton would tell you there's certain players who get comfortable playing a certain way. Definitely. And there is other players who will flourish. Like Will Hughes. Roy Hodgson probably wouldn't have took Will Hughes if he got in for nothing. Yeah. Will Hughes is a talented player. He's a good player in the right system. But if he was playing for Roy, he wouldn't play. So they're bringing in different types of players, and you're going to have players who are comfortable, who are comfortable, maybe centre halves, fullbacks who got this is good for us because we're never in any trouble. We don't have to defend. We've got bodies around us. We like this. I want to play for Roy Keane for 10 years because I'm good. I mean, and now all of a sudden Patrick's going, right, lads, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You've got to put the ball at risk, go and receive it, get your body right, and then you've got to play it forward, and then you've got to make another angle, and then when we turn it over, then you've got to defend, and you might have to defend one-on-one. So I feel like there'll be some players in that dressing room who this in my experience, there's some players push against it because it puts them at risk.
Right.
And then there's other players who will embrace it because they know, if you're so Zaha will be, it'll be great for Zaha.
Yeah.
Once they get to his rhythm, it'll be great for him because he's going to be now not just getting second balls or counter-attacks. He'll be receiving the ball into maybe 10, 15 more times in the final third. And if you give Zaha the ball in the final third, goals and assists will happen.
Yeah,
so it's good, but it's going to be bumpy. And I hope Palace understand that and they stick with Patrick and let him manage that process because it will be tough.
It's a good point Joe makes. Not only the players they brought in, but keeping Zaha. You've only got to speak to any Palace fan. Love Wilf Zaha. Obviously, every window. Whenever I speak to Palace fans, every window they get nervous about Zaha situation, don't they? So another big positive for Palace fans keeping Wilf, who's someone you know very well.
Yeah, definitely. This was probably the only window where you didn't really hear about Wilf Zaha going anywhere. So I think he maybe wanted to go, but Patrick Vieira probably sat down with him, told him the project, saying he'd probably be the main man, and they've managed to keep him. So, yeah, Joe's right. He's positive. Wilfried Zaha is one of those, if you look at him, you give him the ball, it looks like he's playing in the playground. He's got great feet. And another one who they've got out injured, Eze, and now he's a serious
You're a big fan of Eze.
He's a serious. He can go to the next level without a shadow of doubt.
What level are you talking about?
I think he could go and easily play for one of the top 4 teams, and he will play for England, I think, one day, without a shadow of doubt. He's a talented individual. He's so smooth with the ball. And I think Palace already know, even the fans, another year or 2 years, he's injured at the moment, he'll be gone without a shadow of doubt. He's really good. So having them two, Eze and Zaha, must be a defender's nightmare to play against them two.
Do you agree, Joe, about Eze?
I love Eze. I love
go to a top 4 club very top. Obviously, we Palace fans, we're not hoping he does leave, but you think his ability-wise could take him to that level?
I watched him play for QPR, and I was banging I wanted West Ham to take him. Like I thought and Palace did it.
That was close, I think West Ham were interested.
But right. And he made the right move. And listen, he's got a manager now to develop. And you'll see him. He'll be even better in a Patrick Vieira system. Same with Zaha. Will be better in a Patrick Vieira system because they'll have more of the ball.
100%.
He's a great player. Great player. I really like him.
And you said you think there's 3 worse teams than Crystal Palace. You think they'll stay up? So I'm going to once again. We know you're Man City. Who are the 3 that you're tipping to go down?
I'd say Norwich.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would see. I watched them the other day, Watford against Spurs. They were good going forward. Sar's a player, to be fair. He's good, but I don't know about. I'm gonna go for Watford. I have to. And you know who I did go for, but I might change my mind now because I thought they were gonna lose Ward-Prowse, and Ings had already gone, and I thought they might struggle with Southampton. So, but for me, Brentford, I think will stay up. I just think their home form will stay up. You know what? It's going to be hard to say this, and it might be a struggle. It will be between...
Please say Arsenal.
I was going to say that, but you know the Arsenal fans. Burnley could struggle. I think Burnley could struggle, but the only reason I think they stay up is because Sean Dyche has got that experience.
Sean Dyche has done an unbelievable job.
Do I have to answer that third one? Because I can't think.
Do you know what? You don't. But
leave it open.
Yeah,
we'll let Clinton.
You mentioned Arsenal tongue in cheek because you said.
Oh no, Arsenal won't be. They've got a relegation game on the weekend against Norwich, but because they're in the bottom, near the bottom now. But they won't be at the bottom.
But let's talk a little bit about Arsenal in terms of what's going on there. Do you think? Because I know that you have been quite vocal about them. What do you think has gone wrong at Arsenal? Bearing in mind the sort of squad of players they've got to be sitting bottom. I know it's only after 3 games, but
I don't know.
What do you put that down to, Clinton?
If you look at the signings, and I'm not. See, it's not the signings that you think jump out at you. I like Ben White. I think he's going to be good. Is he worth 50 million? I don't think, but he doesn't set the price tag. So I think he will be really good going in there and a really good signing. I think Ramsdale, the goalkeeper's not bad. I think he's all right. I know a lot of people question what he did at Sheffield United, and he didn't start the season well, but the back end of the season, I thought he was good. And there's been other signings, and I'm thinking they're not signings that are going to wow Arsenal. And then it's down to Arteta. They've spent a lot of money. So when
most in the league.
when you don't get results, and Joe will tell you, the buck stops with the manager, and at the end of the day, you have to motivate these players. I know he comes out and he says he's got 8 or 9 players missing for whatever injury and COVID and stuff. A lot of teams have that. It's what you've got to do once you get them across that white line. They've got to deliver. And the result against Brentford, I know I'm going back a bit, was nowhere near good enough. You don't. The Chelsea game, okay, well, you didn't really expect them. Man City didn't expect, but against Brentford, no way. Your first game of the season, you set down your marker. They just didn't turn up, to be fair. And it just looked like there's no hard work. There was no hard work there. They get the result against West Brom, but they played against West Brom's kids. It was the youngsters they put out there. So you expect them to do that. But against Norwich, it is a big game. Because if they don't get a result against Norwich, I think Mikel Arteta's time could be coming to an end very soon.
Wow, okay. Let's bring you some odds. Coral odds. Tottenham, the current league leaders, of course, 25-1 with Coral to win the Premier League.
Are you happy?
I'm happy at the minute. I'm not getting too overly confident. 3 games in,
I wouldn't,
with everything that's going on. Spurs have had quite a few injuries, actually.
Listen, let me tell you.
Go on.
Coral would love to take everyone's money for that 25-1 because that ain't going to happen.
There we go.
I knew that was coming.
To be honest,
you give them 250-1, Coral, you'll be all right.
Wow, there we go. No, I think winning the league is a bit of a stretch. I'm happy, but I'm very realistic as well. I think Spurs are going to win the league.
Even in the top 4, it could be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, but I'm happy with the way things are going. But
you have to be
Joe's been a bit stronger than I've been. Listen to this one, Clinton. Crystal Palace, 8-1 for a top half finish.
Okay. Yeah, not too bad, is it? Like, do I think they'll finish in the top half? I don't. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really difficult. But I think most Palace fans will see, and Joe mentioned it, Patrick Vieira's first season. I just want them to survive because a lot of people are saying they could. I don't think they'll get relegated, and in the end, they probably will finish somewhere like probably 13th, 14th. And I think most Palace fans will be happy. But there'll become a time where you need to evolve and they'll want to finish higher up the table, sorry.
Joe, we're going to do what really happened now. Now, we're going to do a few stories here because Clinton, as we know, we both love Clinton. He's got quite a few decent stories from his playing days. He's rubbing his hand already. First one I want to speak to you about, 2002 World Cup.
Oh, here we
the
go.
Infamous, you know what I'm going to say, didn't you?
You know, I always
Roy
see this
Keane.
guy and he always says to me, where we work together, he always says, stop telling them stories. It's not true. I say, Roy, it's 100% true. I was sitting two seats away from you.
Right.
I know exactly what happened.
You know what we're talking about? Roy Keane, Mick McCarthy, that infamous 2002 World Cup incident. You were there. So
Crazy.
talk us through what happened.
Worst thing is, like, a few days before that, he was already got. One thing with Roy, he loves things done properly. He's at one of the biggest clubs in the world.
He drives
in Man
standards,
United. He drives standards, Joe. So he said, I want the standards right. So what happens? We get there. First time we get there, the kit's gone missing. So we're training and there's no kit. So he's already raging. The pitch is a bit bobbly and he's not happy. And then we're having a game at the end and the goalkeepers have gone out early and it's hot and they're not doing the games after. So by then, he's already got a rage. He's arguing with the goalkeeper coach. He's squaring up to the likes of Shea Given and he's losing his head. So already, his head's already spinning. And then what happens, the day of that, I'm down on where there's like a beach there. So I'm with him because I got on well with Ray. Others would just sit back, but I always like getting in his mind. You don't know me. I like winding people up. So I'm in him and asking him, like, what's it like and to play at a big club like Man United? What do you have to do to push yourself? And he said, make sure you're here at the World Cup, not to make the numbers clear and make sure because you're a good player and just work hard. So he spoke there for about 45 minutes an hour. We go to dinner. And then I just think the atmosphere, like we have dinner, then we have a sing-song after. So we always have sing-songs. So we're having a sing-song. You see me belting out the Irish sing-songs, all the Irish songs. Right. I can't tell you now. But we're singing all the songs. So, and then all of a sudden Mick comes in and he's got the paper. But Mick didn't want anyone to do any interviews. So obviously Roy's done an interview and the interview wasn't good. So I remember it because I was sat here, Steve Finnan was there and Roy was where you are. Yeah. And he was like, so Mick came and said, what is this? And Roy said, yeah, I've done an interview. And he's like, yeah, but I told no one not to do any interview. So he just said, well, I've done. So they just started arguing. And I knew straight, and I couldn't believe it because then Roy went, well, you know what? I don't respect you. And he went, and I can't say what I say because some of the things that came out his mouth was you can't really repeat. Yeah. He says, you're a terrible manager. You're a terrible footballer. I don't have respect for you. The only manager I have respect for is Sir Alex Ferguson. And obviously fell out with him now, but he did there. And he says, and he said, and you're not even Irish, you're English. Wow. By that time, I've just ducked my head under there. South London boy playing for Ireland myself. I'm thinking, is he coming for me next? So by that time, I'm thinking, oh, here we go. I've got my head under the table. And then all of a sudden, they come in and the Mick's walking and Roy's walking. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute. Are these two? I'm thinking, we're at a World Cup. I cannot believe our best player is going to be squaring up to our manager. So they get in between them. They're throwing in towards Mick saying to him, when you had an injury and you faked it. And he's like, no, I didn't. I've never done that. So they're just throwing insults at each other. Next thing you know, he goes, go on then, Mick, make a decision. So I'm thinking, nah, don't say it because I know what you're going to say. And he has to. He's the manager. He can't be disrespected in front of the lads. So he's like, yeah, go home. So he's gone. And then I could not believe he's upstairs getting his stuff ready and he's flown. He's got a private jet wherever. And then you see him 2 or 3 days later back in England with that horrendous Theodora tracksuit walking his dog casually. No, and he didn't care. And I think you speak to Roy now, that would probably be the biggest regret that he didn't ever go and play at the World Cup. Listen, it kind of galvanised the team. We got to the last 16 and we should have beat Spain. We lost on penalties.
I remember it.
Harty missed a penalty in normal time where usually Ian Harty puts it away. So it was a great tournament. But having Roy Keane there, it would have been even better just for the young lads like myself. But wow, what a guy and what a player.
Yeah, Clint, do you think because I've heard that story before.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think was in Mick's mind? Because he'd known Roy's wouldn't have stood there and took it. He'd known that would have been a confrontation. What do you think he was trying to gain out of that? Because
that's what I say all the time, Joe, and you make a great point. Because surely just go and pull him individually and go and see him in his room and talk to him. Yeah. Don't do it in front of the boys. So I don't know, did Mick... I'm not saying Mick, did he really want him there or not, but I think, thinking back to it now, I don't think he addressed it the right way because I'm thinking to myself, it's Roy Keane.
Yeah.
During that time, he's one of the best midfielders there is in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. And he was a leader, natural leader. He just set things anyway, even on the training pitch. If you were on his team, no word of a lie, you would know him, Damien Duff. He didn't like to be on Roy's team. And I was like, why don't you like to be on his Roy team? He's like, because he always shouting and he wants you to be at it. But I said, Duff, that's a good thing because your level will go there. Damien Duff was unbelievable. Probably the best, one of the best in Ireland with his feet, what he could do. But everyone was nervous being on his team. He'd drill it with you from 5 yards and you'll be like, Roy, that's not a good ball. He's like, well, if I drill it to Cantona, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, they can control it. You're like, okay, here we go. You can't really argue with it, can you? And that's the levels that he was at, but a great individual. I get on well with him still now when I see him, and I've got so much respect for him. So, but at that time, I just think it could have been handled differently. Yeah,
he's a top player and a great pundit as well. Love hearing him.
Oh, yeah, he tells you how it is.
How did players react when all that happened? Because it's such a big story. And you all sat around. So how did you and all the players react?
Well, the younger ones, we were a bit disappointed. I don't know, like the older ones, they kind of said, well, we need to get Steve Staunton and the Niall Quinns, we need to get together and, keep the squad going. Because you know what it was going to be like. It was breaking news. It was like, we had a young...
It was massive.
What happened is he nearly went, and there was a young boy called Colin Healy that in the end he couldn't make it because he didn't get registered in time because it was being changed. Roy Keane nearly flew back and was coming back, but he couldn't make it in time to get back because they'd already scrubbed his name off or something like that, with whatever they do. And he couldn't make it back in. So we would have loved to have had him back in. So someone missed out on it. So we were already a man down with the squad, but it's crazy.
It's actually such a shame, because them names, Clinton and saying Steve Staunton, Niall Quinn, Ian Hart,
that's what
Steve
I mean.
Finnan, Damien Duff, Robbie Keane, Shay Given. I'm like, they could have beaten Spain. That's what I mean. Quarter-final. If the game's close with Roy, I am 100% convinced they would have beaten Spain.
100%.
And then they're in the quarterfinals, and then it's knockout football.
Anything could happen. Yeah, it was brilliant.
It's such a shame for Ireland when you look at where they are now with the pool of players they got. They've not had a team as good as that since, the squad as good as that.
Joe's spot on. It was brilliant. And then we ended it, and as we do in Ireland tradition, we went out and enjoyed ourselves. And Michael Flatley?
Yes.
So, there you go. I ended up doing river dancing on his limo.
So you ended up doing a river dance on Michael Flatley's limo?
He's like, Clint, come and do a river dance. And he invited us all out, and he said, do a river dance on our limo. So there I am doing the river dance on the limo. I was nervous because I could have gone through the roof, to be fair.
And brilliantly, we've got that footage now. No, we don't. He got nervous then.
Exactly. I was thinking, have you still got that?
Is that one of those moments?
I'd love to see that.
Growing up in South London, you're river dancing with Michael Flatley on a limo in Japan, thinking, how far have I come?
Like, I had to go. You know when you had to look, Michael Flatley, like, who is that? And then I look, wow, he's big in there. So I'm thinking, and then I'm thinking, growing up South London on the estates, you know, like the boys would be like, you doing river dancing on Michael Flatley's limo. It was brilliant, but it kind of, the mood we were in a bad way, and going out with him was a great night. So that's what they do in Ireland.
That's a funny thing, you know, them nights out, when you could, obviously we didn't win nothing at England, but the first night out when you get knocked out, it is like, it's carnage, like because you've built up all of this tension and emotion and that, and then it ends, and you look at each other, what do we do now? We just get pissed, all right. And like we used to, because we're England, we was in a room, and I'm like, everyone was just at the game, thinking like, and it's done then. You're on holiday, you know. There's nothing you can do. Everyone's, and you're right. It's a feeling of emptiness, but also disappointment. And then a release of like, because you've been given your all for your country, just you're trying everything, you know. So it's an interesting that like the Irish boys did it better than us, obviously.
Well, I was going to ask you that, Joe. You had Clinton doing the river dance, Michael Flatley's limo. Anything similar from you after an England game?
A couple of lads doing the worm on the reception room floor and things like that.
Probably crouchy, no?
Yeah.
You had a few celebs though, didn't you? They used to come in the dressing room. I seem to remember you telling me a while ago.
Yeah, the U2, Bono, and that. The U2 used to come in there, and we had some. Yeah, there was a few that used to come, but obviously I'm not, because I'm South London. I'm thinking, who's U2 when they're coming in? They're big. I was like, are they? So
I know, clearly.
You know. So you're telling me. So they have to educate me, and then when I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, can I have a picture? You know, like that's a fan. So it was good. You learn a lot from them. But yeah, it was good. The Ireland, playing for Ireland was the best times ever. And Joe's right. There was at Ireland, it was more of a togetherness. We treated it like a club, club togetherness. There was always together. If one was out, you all had to go out. If you stayed in, you get hammered, to be fair.
Joe, there's a lot to ask Clinton about. I don't know if you want to go with the next story. I don't know how we're going to top that, the way he says that, but any stories that you wanted to ask Clinton about?
No, I remember Clinton because I don't know if I was when a young man coming through, and I know from coming from the same sort of area as Clinton, what he was saying was like it was bravado.
He's nuts.
So Micheal Owen was the European Footballer of the Year, and then Clinton was playing against him.
I knew that was coming.
It's brilliant. And then Clinton said, I'll let him tell the story, but the whole football, and it's very, what's the word, hierarchical.
Hierarchy within football.
Yes. Yeah. So this upstart from South London saying that about Micheal Owen. People are like, who is this guy? But I'm like the kid in the class. When he's saying it, I'm like, that's brilliant.
Exactly.
Go on then, Clinton.
So it's obviously, back then, it's the Carabao Cup now, but back then it was called the Worthing Cup. Semi-final was a 2-leg. Yeah. So we were playing them, and they had they were, I think, Gerard,
a great team.
Great. They had like obviously Owen, they had Heskey, Littman, and so they had some top players. Carragher was playing. Yeah. So, but we beat them on the first leg 2-1.
Yeah, first leg was at your place.
Yeah, our place. I scored, and obviously I think Littman scored to make it 2-1. So as you do, you're the man. You come out of Sellers Park and you got all the, journalists asking you questions. So they said to me, they said, Micheal Owen missed a few chances, and I said the form I'm in at the moment, I would 100% buried all those chances that he missed because I had scored something like 12 in my last 12. Yeah. So I felt like I was the man and stuff like that. Got to train. We had the day off. 2 days later, get to training. The lads are shaking their head. I was like, what? You lot don't shake your head at me. I just help us beat Liverpool. Without that, you lot wouldn't have been going to Anfield with a lead. So I'm the man round. Joe knows.
I'm the man round.
Look at that paper. And the headline was Clinton Morrison will teach Micheal Owen how to score goals. Right. And I was like, really? Me teach Micheal Owen, as Joe said, European star, obviously teach him how to score goals. So I was like, I cannot believe it. So I was like, well, it's not true. Obviously, the words got twisted. Yeah. So we go to Anfield. He's not fit, Micheal Owen. So obviously, I want to reach out to him and just say, that's not true. But he's not fit. So listen, I know what it's going to be. It didn't even have to do no team talk. Just probably put up my stupid comments on the wall. And then all of a sudden, we get beat 5-0. We get battered. Yeah. And to be fair, the Liverpool fans are giving me all kinds of abuse. And I get an opportunity. And I'm about 4 yards out, and the ball just fell nicely in front of the cop, and I'm thinking, Clint, just make contact. I don't care we've lost. I do care we've lost, but just score and shut these up. What do? I do a complete air shot, miss the ball. It's live on the TV. The cameras go, because I watch it when I get home, go to Micheal Owen. He's got a smirk on his face. As I'm walking back, I see all my teammates and Liverpool fans. I look at the bench, I think to my manager, please, just take me off now, please. This is not for me. And then guess this is the best bit. Gary McAllister walks past and goes, don't worry about it, Clinton. Micheal Owen would have scored that. And on that note, that is what happened, but you live and you learn, and you never make stupid comments ever again. Micheal Owen was a fantastic striker, and I was nowhere near as good as what Micheal Owen was. But so there you go. I apologise, Micheal Owen, and I don't apologise to anyone. So you're lucky I did that.
There we go. And you live and you learn, as you said.
Exactly. You live. I'm young. As Joe would tell you, I'm young, a South London boy.
Yeah.
I'm doing well for myself, and I think I'm the man. I'm probably. You know what? I probably rolled out of there. I probably got my big bracelet on, my big chain out over my suit, and I think I'm the man. And these media people are speaking to me, and I'm going, I'm the man. I'm better than Micheal Owen, but deep down, I'm not better than him.
And you know what? It's bravado of you. I remember doing something similar. About saying I played for West Ham against Chelsea, and I'd given Didier Deschamps the runaround, and he just won the World Cup.
What a player!
What a player!
Exactly, exactly. I did exactly the same thing. Didn't quite get the same traction as the words were coming out of my mouth. Same with Clinton. I'm thinking, right, I'm out tonight. You know what I mean? I'm this and that, and I'm like, I must have said something like, like just run the show, whatever, run the show in the midfield against the World Cup or whatever. And as the words came out of my mouth, I thought, oh no.
As soon as they came out, you knew.
And then, but luckily enough, it didn't get the traction for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But he was
young.
But he was true. He did run the show. At the end of the day, he did run the show. I couldn't score the goals like Micheal Owen.
Have you bumped into Micheal Owen? You must have bumped into him since then. Have you spoken about that?
Owen, he's cool now. I see him a lot. We speak, obviously, and we say hello. But at first, it did feel a bit frosty. Like, I saw him on holiday in Portugal, and I was thinking, I'm with my family, he's with his family. Yeah. Do I go and really?
Do you want to play five-a-side?
And you know what he was doing? He was reading the paper. But you know when I'm trying to make contact, but someone's reading the paper.
Yeah.
He had 2 minutes, because if he didn't, I would have flicked the paper and said, I'm here, hello. But I didn't. What I did is I said, I didn't mean that, I apologise. And he said, fine, You
know what? 2 great stories from there. Our future guests are going to be tough to top.
That's tough to top.
We've got to move on to Choral Football Super Series game. Tongue twister for me that every week, Joe.
That's brilliant, mate. You nailed it.
More predictions for you, mate.
Yeah.
So Leeds v Liverpool, big game this. Looking forward to this. On Sunday, Ellen Road. Leeds without a win, of course, Liverpool unbeaten. We're going to ask you 4 simple questions about that game. So all about this game.
Of course.
You've got to tell us what you think. First up, who will be the first goal scorer in this one? Who are you tipping?
Salah. Do you want me to tell you why?
Go on.
Just I think he's in good form, and I just feel like Liverpool will be too strong for Leeds. I do believe Leeds will score, and I could have said Bamford or Rafinha, because I think they're 2 outstanding players who will cause problems. And I know they've just signed young James who will go in there and do well. But I just think with Liverpool, how they look at the start of this season, and Mo Salah, I always look at him for the first goal. So I'm going to go for Mo Salah.
Joe, who are you going with? Who are you tipping?
I'm going to go with Bamford.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Only because just to be a little bit different to Clinton, but only because these games coming back from international duties, I think you always throw it out the window, and he's a great, fantastic finisher. So I think Liverpool win the game, but I think Leeds give them a bit of problems.
Okay, next up, time of first away team goal. So the away team is Liverpool.
Oof.
What are you saying? Tough on this, isn't it?
It is tough. If I get this right, I'm the man in that.
Has any of our guests ever nailed it?
As far as I'm aware, the guests haven't nailed it yet.
Here we
but
go.
if you do nail it, we'll obviously text you, WhatsApp,
26
put it on
minutes.
Instagram.
26 minutes.
26 minutes, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's. I'm gonna go late. I'm gonna go.
He's not having
1-0 down. 1-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
Come in. Jurgen Klopp livens them up. I'm gonna go 53 minutes, and then they go on to win the game from behind.
All right, okay. How many yellow cards, Clinton?
Oh wow. That's a game. It's Leeds. That is a fiery game. The fans. It's at Ellen Road. I'm going for 5 yellow cards, mate.
Yeah, go on.
Can I go over or upper?
You can honestly say whatever you want.
Okay, I'll go 4 then. Just under. I think it'd be fiery, but 5. You don't see 5 a lot.
Nah, I've just gone a bit silly there. Maybe get a red, but
you changing it?
No, I'll leave it. I can't.
So what we'll do, we will look back on all that, and we'll let you know if any of those come in.
Well, the 26 minutes will come in.
26 minutes. Will come in. Wow.
No.
Corners.
Oh, how many corners?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
I know.
Who counts the corners in the games?
Joe and Coral count every single corner for every single game.
For both teams, yeah?
For both teams, mate.
Wow, are we gonna
What's the average, by the way?
Yeah, what's the average?
Because they got that over and upper as 12,
what's
isn't it?
the average?
7.
Oh, wow. All right, so I'm gonna go.
Producer Jack said 7, and then sort of looks going, is it 7? So I don't know how.
I'm gonna go 8 then.
that is.
I'm gonna go 8.
8.
Yeah.
Above average.
Above average.
Attacking game, I'm going to go 10.
Yeah,
10,
lot of
okay.
shots, lot of
And of
corners,
course,
lot
you
of
can
goals.
play along if you're over 18. Head to coral.co.uk. Answer questions correctly to win cash prizes. And of course, Joe, please gamble responsibly.
Please do, thank you.
Couple more Coral odds to give you. If you think Leeds will win 2-1, Coral will give you odds of 14-1. That's quite like the sound of that.
Yeah.
And it's 66-1 for a Sadio Mane hat-trick. Like the sound of that, Clinton?
I do like the sound of that. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think
He's a striker. He likes the sound of any
any
hat-trick.
exactly.
You like the
Joe's
sound of it.
spot on, yeah.
Nearly all that we had time for. I've obviously asked your memories about Joe. So, Joe, I think it's only applicable your memories of Clinton, playing against him, what he was like, and his
All
career.
Joe's got to say quickly is he's a big mouth and he scored goals.
Mate, listen, he always scored goals. That's for sure. Everywhere he's gone in his career. But no, like, it's been brilliant to have Clinton on, brilliant guest. He had a fantastic career. I wanted to ask him this because the media career's taken off for him.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I wondered if he had the same thing as me because we talk a certain way and we're from London. When I first got into it, people said to me, you go for the media lessons and you have to pronounce your P's and Q's. And it's just great because Clinton talks how we talk.
Yeah.
And we're both in the media and it's acceptable now. I sort of went against the advice of people because my mates said, no, if I'm going to be on the telly, I'm going to talk how I talk and I might pronounce things wrong. And that's worked for me. It's great to see lads from the areas we're from in the media, on telly, talking. And I think it works. I think people relate to us. Like Clinton's doing a great job. Not only a great career, he's doing a great job in the media as well.
And you know what? I have to say this because it's something that is Joe's spot on. A lot of people say, when you get these social media, so everyone say, oh, look how he talks. He talks like he's the exact words are gangster. So I was like, let me tell you something. Never been a gangster. Been raised to be a good boy by my parents. And one thing I've always said, be true to myself. And that's why I've been on the media. And I got 2 bits of advice from people. And they were like, don't ever change, be yourself. And that was Ian Wright and Thierry Henry. And they both worked with me and said, you're fantastic. Keep being you. Don't change. Because people like that. I'll bring the energy and I'll explain it how I want to explain it. I'm not going to change the way I speak. If people want me to change the way I speak, I walk away. I am who I am. I can't change and be someone different. And I think Joe's the same. And that's the one thing. I'll always be true to myself. Because if I'm not true to myself or my family, then I'm not being myself. And everyone knows that's how I am. And that's a good point because people said, you should go and get media training. I said, I don't want media training. This is how I am. And I'm not changing for anyone. If you don't like it, then don't employ me.
Yeah, exactly. And people in this era, I think they're crying out for that because so far the media from years ago was all very polished, very but now there's so much madness in the world. People want what's real.
100%.
They want people talking to them who they would be talking to down the pub.
Exactly.
That's what they want. And then we're lucky enough because I couldn't do this job any other way than what I'm doing it.
And you can relate to that.
I can relate to
I can 100%. Be yourself. Like, you want to do it where you're there. I want to do it like I'm talking to my friends. Like this, I want to do it. I'm relaxed. I want to do it talking to my friends. I've enjoyed this. And that's why I want to do it. And I praise both of you because you're doing brilliant in the media. And so are you, mate. I've seen you grow from years. And it's just brilliant. I don't come and do things if I'm not comfortable in my environment. I've come here because it's 2 people I've got a lot of respect for. So I've really enjoyed it.
Love that. Mate. I think that's the perfect note to end it, Clinton. Brilliant guest, Joe. Pleasure as always. Don't forget to find us on Joe's YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast from. That was All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Cole with myself, Adam Smith, the legend Joe Cole, and what a guest he was, Clinton Morrison.
You've been watching All To Play For, brought to you by Joe and Coral.